Hello, Illuminaires! It is time to take a rest from your quest and check on in to the Lord Keeper's Inn. I'm your host, Katie, and today is an exciting episode because we are coming up on the North American Disney Lorcana Challenge Championships. So it's the Continentals. I don't know, I've seen a lot of names, but I think that's the North American Championship. Either way, I'm very excited, and it's going to be at the Disneyland Hotel, which means some of you are going to be in the Disneyland Resort area for the first time ever or the first time in a long time. So I wanted to make a video for anybody that's going there that wants to kind of get a little toes in the water to know what to expect. Now, if you want to be a Disneyland expert, there are entire YouTube channels and books and things that you can do to be an expert on Disneyland, or you can just like follow me around the park, like see me, scan my ticket, and just like do whatever I'm doing. That's the second best way to do it. But in lieu of having, everyone follow me, you can also watch this video and get a few tips and get ready. My goal is to kind of go over just the general tips I would give anyone who wants to have a kind of low effort but high success day. I don't want anyone to feel like they need to do a bunch of studying or like they're going to do it wrong. I find that when someone says that they didn't have a good time at Disney, it's because they feel like they were set up or like they missed something or like everyone around them knew more. And the answer is, there are people around you who know more, and there are people, it's a skill-based activity in some ways. So I'm going to give you the skill you need to have a pretty good day, just by showing up. My number one tip that I would want to start with is just coming in with the right expectations. And this is hard because I think naturally there's a lot of pressure when you go to Disneyland because it is expensive. Any theme park these days is going to be pretty expensive, and Disneyland is absolutely no exception. Between parking and the ticket, doing lightning lane and food and merchandise, it's not a cheap way to spend a day by any means. However, if you go into it knowing that I know what's going to be the most important thing to me in that day, it can feel a little less stressful to try to get your money's worth. Because I think that's where some of the stress can come from, is feeling like you have to finish the park in the day. So my number one tip is really setting your expectations when you come into the park and saying, these are the things I absolutely must do. So pick one or two rides, a parade, some kind of activity, and those are like your banner activities. And then everything else is kind of just confetti. The good news with Disneyland is it's a very small park, so you can get from one side to the other pretty fast. You'll get tired. I will do that to optimize getting in lines that are shorter, and then you end up walking like a half marathon throughout the course of a day. But that's okay. You can get a lot done. You can get a little done. It's all about what is most important to you. And so I think the first thing is just reflecting on what you want to get out of the day. Do you want to hang out with your family, friends? Do you want to ride everything possible? Do you want to just take in the ambiance? Do you want to take photos? Do you want to eat? If you prioritize that, then I think you're going to have a better day coming out of it. So the other thing that you're going to hear is the term rope drop. And that's my tip number 2, with a sister hint of it, which is staying late. The parks are going to be most busy starting at about 11 o'clock to about 9 o'clock when the fireworks are over. So taking advantage of what people call rope drop. They call it rope drop because everybody gets there and they have these ropes to stop you from going too far, and then they drop the ropes and you can go into the different lands. So if you take advantage of rope drop and get to the park about 30 minutes before it opens, and that's like to the gate of the park where you're scanning your ticket, and then you get in when the park opens, you can really do a ton in that first hour. My super secret special plan is to do Fantasyland, because a lot of people rope drop the e-ticket rides. I'm using all this lingo. You guys are like, whoa, she's so smart. But e-ticket rides are going to be the big, amazing rides. So things like Tiana's Bayou Adventure, Thunder Mountain, Matterhorn is an e-ticket, Mickey's Runaway Railway. So a lot of people are going to be like running to those. But go to Fantasyland. Not a lot of people are trying to do it. And you can ride all the little dark rides. Now, they're dorky. They're not cool rides, but I love them. Alice in Wonderland is a favorite of mine. You can watch some of my vlogs, because I think I've ridden in both of my Disneyland adventures, because it's quintessential Disneyland. And the charm of Disneyland is how homey it is. So the sister hint of doing the rope drop is staying after the firework. I wouldn't recommend this if you're going before the tournament, because Disneyland is a lot. It'll take a lot out of you. So maybe staying until the end is not really your jam, but you will be able to get on a lot of rides in the last hour, generally speaking. And then also the week is always going to be less busy than the weekend. But that's going to be the best, right when it opens, right when it closes. So I know it sucks to wake up early, but it's worth it. You know, if you're going to try to get as much done, that's going to be my number 2. Tip number 3 involves money, unfortunately. It is Lightning Lane. Disney offers, you might have heard it called Fast Pass, Express Pass. I don't know. They've changed names, but at Disneyland, it's still Lightning Lane. And you can buy for, I believe it's $26 or something around there. It changes based on the day, where you have the ability to book, basically skip the line on certain attractions. And you can, with the combination of rope drop and using the Lightning Lane Genie Plus app, basically, you are able to get a lot done. Now, I can go very far in depth on this, but what I will say is you always want to use your lightning lanes on things that make sense. Don't book your lightning lane for a ride that has a 20-minute wait. If it has a 20-minute wait, just go ride it. And you can always change your lightning lane. So if you are only able to secure a lightning lane for something that's not at the optimal time, like let's say you book your first one for Tiana's Bayou Adventure and it's at 7 o'clock, and you're like, oh, I didn't want to stay that late, or I don't want to have to wait to use my lightning lane. You can go into the app and refresh it. And then when you refresh it, you can see somebody else. If they cancel their lightning lane, you can select that and then join a different time for a lightning lane or change it to a different experience. So you're never locked in on your lightning lane. So be vigilant about trying to get the most out of them. So tip number 3.A, is going to be using the app. It can be kind of a bummer to have your nose in your phone, but it really will optimize your day. And what I mean by that is you have your lightning lanes if you're choosing to do that. But if you're not choosing to do lightning lanes, it's going to have your wait times. It's going to have the map. It's going to have photos. So if you get photos with any characters or rides, it'll be linked in the app. And then you also can order food, which is going to be tip number 4, mobile order. So Disneyland allows you at many of the quick service places to order what you want in the phone on the app, the Disneyland app, and then select a window for when you're going to pick up. You say you're there, and then usually within, anywhere from 1 minute to 10 minutes, it'll say your food's ready, and you come in, you grab it, and you leave. And it's very nice because you don't have to wait in another line. You get the flexibility of ordering what you want in your phone, so you can kind of look at everything and decide there. So I am a big fan of mobile ordering. Now, you can't mobile order everything, but you can mobile order most of the big restaurants. So just before you go, you can take a look at what the mobile ordering options are. So that way the day of, you're like, I already know what restaurants are here and I already know what I want to eat. So that's like check. And you don't have to make those decisions day of. And you can also kind of peruse and make a fake order and see what kind of souvenir cups they have. And that's a great way to kind of browse and get those cute little, you're going to say sippers. It's a weird thing. They're weird giant cups that, I don't think anyone actually drinks out of them, but they're very cute. So you'll be able to browse what locations have them. While we're on the topic of mobile ordering, I'll say my top 3 things to order via mobile ordering. So I'm a very snacky person at Disneyland. I love to just graze throughout the day. So my number 1 is going to be Bengal Barbecue, which Bengal Barbecue is a place that has little grilled meat skewers, but they also have asparagus wrapped in bacon. And they have these things called tiger tails, or cheesy breadsticks. So I love ordering food from there, having just some protein and a little piece of bread. It's very, basic, but it's elevated theme park food. And it's very unique to Disneyland. None of the other Disney park has Bengal Barbecue. And it's just some amazing little meal to kind of stick some meat on your bones. And then number 2 is going to be the mint julep bar to get mint julep and beignets. So you might hear mint julep and be like, ooh, we getting boozy. No, it is non-alcoholic, and it's basically just minty lemonade, but it's so refreshing and it's so delicious. And I always want to get 2 and just have one, down it, and then have another one for after I drink my first one. And then the beignets are not super authentic beignets. They're kind of a little flat compared to your New Orleans standards. But they're very classic to Disneyland. They're shaped like Mickey, and they come in a bag, and you shake it, and it gets powdered sugar everywhere, including yourself. So kind of brush yourself off after that. But then the last one is going to be the Tiki Juice Bar to get a Dole Whip. So Dole Whip is a very classic Disney snack. It used to be something where you could only get it in Disney parks and also the Dole Plantation in Hawaii, but you can start to see them in more places, but they taste the best at Disneyland. You won't get better than that. If you're in the mood for a nice little cold treat, definitely do it when the sun's out, because after the sun goes down, you might not want it as much. And you can't go wrong. It's classic. It's perfect. It's the best thing you can do. And then you can't mobile order a pickle. You can't I don't know. I don't think you can. But either way, if you see a pickle, sounds weird, very good. Spicy pickles, pretty spicy and amazing. So you just walk around with like a pickle in a bag and eat it, and it's fine. It's what everyone else is doing, so it's not weird. So tip number 5 is going to be, again, in the app, but you might be somebody that you're like, I just want to sit down and have a meal. And as you have noticed, if you go to the Disneyland app and say, well, I'm going to make a reservation, there probably isn't a lot of reservations available. But day of, you can join what's called the walk-up list. So you have to get kind of close to the restaurant, like it'll tell you when you're in range, but generally if you can see the restaurant, then you can get on the list. But you say how many people are in your party, and if there is walk-up available, you can say, I'd like to eat here, and then they call you within, anywhere from 10 to 30 to an hour, depending on what the wait is, and then you get to eat at a sit-down restaurant. So it is a very cool thing to do. You can check in the app right now before you go on what restaurants are going to have that walk-up list. But last time I was there, I was able to get in at the Carnation Cafe, which is on Main Street, and they had this amazing fried chicken and mashed potatoes, and it was like such a good, after I did my rope drop insanity, I had a really nice lunch, and it was wonderful. And I'm sure it's easier to get in with smaller parties than big parties, but it's just a nice thing to keep in your back pocket that you can have a nice sit. So now we're in my bonus tip. So you're here for Disney Lorcana, and you're like, well, where do I get Disney Lorcana in Disneyland? And that's a great question. So there's not a ton of great Lorcana. Like, you're not going to walk in and it's like an LGS. You're like, wow, they have every set. But they do sell it in a few places. So they're going to sell it in downtown Disney at Pin Traders. They don't always have that because that's not in the parks. But once you're in the park, you can find it in the Magic Shop, which is going to be on your right-hand side when you come into the park in one of like the first few shops. So they're going to have Lorcana packs there. And it's actually next to the Magic Shop. It's in the Pin Shop attached to the Magic Shop, but you'll walk in and you'll see it next to the pins. And then the biggest place that I've seen Disney Lorcana is going to be in Pin Traders in Frontierland. So that's going to be, you walk into the park, you go to the left, you don't go to Adventureland, you're going to go past that Frontierland, it's like right next to it. And then there's a Pin Traders. And so behind the cashier, they have all their Lorcana stuff, and it's kind of exciting. They usually have just a ton of Into the Inklands, but last time I was there, they did have Azurite Sea, which was exciting. I have yet to open an Enchanted in the park, but man, if I did, that'd be so cool. If somebody does that, you have to let me know, because that's the dream. My next tip is, you might see behind me, I love pins. And that was something with Disney Lorcana when I saw they were doing pins for league participation. So excited. I have collected Disney pins since 2011. So for a long 13 years. But I love Disney pin trading, and you can kind of see that they have a lot of pins. So you might have this character that you're like, there's no way they'll have a pin for that. But they might. They probably do. I mean, if you challenge them, no, they probably don't have a little brother pin. Although I think I have a little brother pin, so checkmate. But either way, they have limited edition pins. They're going to have, so they're going to be like holiday ones, special ones that are just limited run, that are just generically special. In this case, since it's going to be January, I don't know what kind of holidays they'll have, but they always have like weird random ones. So definitely, if you like Lorcana pins, go to the Pin Traders. And then also, pin trading is amazing. So you get to bring your own little pins. Now, they do have to be Disney Pin Trader pins, so you can buy them in the park, or you can buy some online. Make sure they're authentic, because like you can kind of get some not great quality ones that are not authentic and technically not great to feed into the ecosystem. But what I mean by feed into the ecosystem is you get to trade with cast members. So there'll be like little boards around the park, and you get to go up to the board and trade up to 2 pins, and it's very fun. Sometimes you can find some pretty cool pins. Sometimes it's hard because people bring those pins that I just referenced that aren't so good. But I have found some amazing pins over the years, and it's kind of a fun thing to do to keep you going in those moments where you're like, everything has a line and I am pooped. So if you're in that position and you just kind of want to do something, have a snack and walk around, pin trading is really a great way to take advantage of the park and do something that's very unique. And it's fun to bring pins because I always think of them as like stickers that last forever. To get a little sticker to remember your day. So my very last tip is, honestly, take it in. It is a really pretty place to be. There's lots of quiet little corners where you can just sit and take in the afternoon. I love just sitting on Main Street and watching the vehicles of Main Street go by. I generally don't do parades and fireworks, but I think it's partially because I'm spoiled and partially because I don't love being in a giant crowd. But the good news with fireworks is you can get there pretty close to when it starts. You're not going to get the best spot ever, but you'll be able to see them. And you can also see the fireworks over by It's a Small World, which will be closed when we're there, but I think the area will still be open. In Star Wars Land, you can see the fireworks. So if you want to see the fireworks and you don't want to be in the hubbub, there's lots of places you can see it around. It's in the sky, so it makes it a lot easier to see what's going on. And yeah, it's just a great place to be. So I highly recommend getting a snack and just having a quiet moment, just taking it in. I know that sounds very old of me, but the older I get, the more I just appreciate a nice space meant to relax. So definitely at one point during your day, just take a moment to take it in and enjoy it. And I hope to see you guys there. I'm going to be doing my very first Disney bound, so check out a video that should be coming out either before or after this video's release, where me and a special guest will talk about what Disney bounding is. But it's going to be my first Disney bound. So that's going to be exciting. And I hope to see you guys there. If you have any questions, absolutely shoot me an email, shoot me a text. You don't know my number, and you won't. But you can absolutely reach out to me on any of the platforms I'm on, and I love giving advice. I can do more in depth. I can do a Q&A after this. I have been to Disneyland many times. I love going. I usually go by myself. So if you're somebody where you're like, I don't have anyone coming with me to Nashville, still go. It's so amazing, and it's so liberating to just go to a theme park and have exactly the day you want to have. I highly recommend it. It is just a great thing to do as an adult, to just have a nice day. So I hope to see you there. I hope you have a wonderful time. And more than anything, I cannot wait to see you guys at Nationals. I did finally buy a plane ticket to go out there. I was kind of on the fence, but I will be there. And I can't wait to see everyone. And I will give you stickers so aggressively or weirdly because I'm not good at it in person. So sorry in advance for any awkward conversations. But otherwise, I can't wait to see you. And thank you for stopping by the Lord Keepers Inn. Make sure to like and subscribe and follow and share and all those fun things. And till next time, happy questing.